Hello everyone, now we are gonna start a new technology, a new I can say language, and the name of that is CSS, cascading style sheets. So up to now we have studied HTML, right? We have studied HTML in three different levels, level 1, level 2, level 3, and in this all HTML3 chapters we have created multiple HTML documents, right? We have created a form, we have created a table, we have created our own sample portfolio site. But the problem with plain HTML is that if you observe clearly, the UI, the user interface of this plain HTML document is not good when compared to a real-time website. Let's say you are observing a portfolio site which is online. Somebody has hosted a portfolio site. When you observe that portfolio site, you will see that there are a lot of elements, there are a lot of styling there, and the website is actually looking good. But with plain HTML, whatever the things you have created till now, these things are not looking good. So to make a document, a web page look good, we use a language, and that language is CSS. The full form of CSS is cascading style sheets. So this CSS, the full form of CSS, can be divided into two words. First one is cascading and the second one is style sheets. So you can consider that HTML, the only work of HTML is to give you a structure. HTML will not take care of, okay, this website is not looking good, so let me arrange the table here. It will not take care. It will have some default values and it will do that. Let's say you are creating a table. You can always observe that whenever you are creating a table will come on the left side of the screen. It will not come like defaultly on the right side, because HTML has some standard values. HTML has some standard parameters which it use, and it doesn't follow, it doesn't care how much your website is good looking, how much the UI is good. It doesn't care. The only work of HTML is to provide you a structure. Right now, to make this plain HTML document, you are going to add a layer, a new layer, you can say, a sheet on top of it, and that sheet is CSS, and the work of CSS is to make your UI good, make your website look good, right? So here I have demonstrated you with a diagram. So this is the plain HTML, and the work of plain HTML is to provide you a structure. Now after having the structure, you are gonna add skin, you are gonna add what clothes this man is going to wear, what is the skin color of that man going to be. So all this coloring, styling is defined by CSS. I hope you have understood. Now if I wanna give you an example of real-time example of CSS, where we use CSS in our real time, we can relate to this example, right? So for example, whenever we are cooking dal, let's say we are cooking dal, right? So on top of dal, at the end of making a dish, we give tadka to it, like we give some oil, kind of like, I don't know what tadka is, but our mothers, our chefs, all this kind of things, they give tadka to the dal because the dal will look good. Similarly, if I say biryani, we make biryani, right? After making biryani, while serving, we will add coriander, we will add cashew, we will add like kesar, saffron, something kind of thing, right? So we'll add these things. Why? Because at the end, while we are serving, we want to make sure that the biryani is looking good, like it should look delicious, right? So this all the looking process, this all the styling process in web development is done by CSS. Okay, so what is CSS? It is a language that is used to describe the style of the document. Let's say you are writing a text, you are creating a button, you are creating a form. So can I say that when you observe a form or a button or a text, it is defaultly HTML assigns the color of text as black. Now you want to change the color, you want to change the color of your text, button or form, or you want to change the shape of that text, or you want to change the font. Let's say there are many fonts like Arial, some bold forms, whatever. I can't recall the names of the forms, but there are many forms, many fonts of a text. So you want to change the font, you don't want to have a default font, then what you're gonna do is that you are going to change the font style of the text. Similarly, you can change the size of the table, you can change the size of the form, you can change the size of the text. So all these properties, we call them the color, shape, size, font family, font size, right, the spacing between two letters, this all things we call them as CSS properties. Right, so tags, these are the HTML tags, right? Text, in text we have h1 tag, paragraph tag, h2 tag, bold tag, italic tag. So these things are known as HTML tags. Now for these tags you want to add styling, you want to change the look of this content, of this tags. So what you're gonna do is that you will add properties, and for properties you will assign values. So we'll talk about how we gonna add properties to individual tags, how we gonna add property. Let's say I want to change the color of a text, we will talk about how we can change that. But for now, this color, shape, font size, size of a table, shape of a table, shape of the button, all this kind of things we call them as CSS properties, and these properties are used to change the look of a HTML tag. Now before we move into how a website will look with CSS and how a website will look without CSS, I will show you a demonstration. But for now you need to understand that CSS, this topic CSS is a very broad topic. Like let's say I'm making 10 lectures of CSS, right? For example, I'm making 10 lectures of CSS and each lecture is of 2 hours. Then and also we cannot cover complete CSS, that's how the broad topic is, right? And you know, I'm thinking of making CSS for like 5 to 6 part. I will make 5 lectures or 6 lectures of CSS, and I will try to cover the most important topics. Like there is a topic called as selector, flexbox, transitions, all this kind of things we will talk about in the next session. But I'm thinking of making CSS 5 to 6 lectures. Okay, so you will consider, you will like assume that we will have 5 to 6 lectures only on CSS, and this thing is a very broad topic, and it is okay to forget some topics. It is okay that because the topics are very huge, because the things which we need to remember are very huge, it is okay sometimes you guys can forget some topics. Let's say you are forgetting topic about selector, right? So what you have to do is that you should not leave it like that. What you have to do is that there is a website called as MDN CSS. So type MDN CSS and you will get the entire documentation of CSS. In this you will get hundreds of properties, hundreds of like concepts of CSS, right? So whenever you forget something, now go to this website, search for the topic which you have forget and study about it, read about it, and you will recall, you will get a revision for that thing. Okay, and yeah, first point is that you need to remember before starting, it is okay to forget some properties, and whenever you forget the concept of that topic, then go to MDN CSS, read about that and apply that. This is the thing, this is the three you can say a cyclic process which we follow. Whenever we forget a topic, we go to MDN CSS, we study about it, and after that I will apply. This loop will continue. A good developer will solve his problems on his own. I'm telling you this for the second time, I guess, but for now let us go into the topics now. So here let me tell you the importance of CSS. So here this is an Amazon site with CSS, right? With CSS, this is a Amazon site, and this is the same site without CSS. So let me show you. I will go to a website. Chrome. Okay, Microsoft. This is an Apple website. You can see that this is an Apple website which I am having. Now what I'm gonna do is that this is with CSS. This website which you are seeing is with styling. This website includes styling. Now what I'm gonna do is that I will remove the styling files, the CSS files from this document. So we store CSS documents in head tag. So I'm gonna remove head tag completely. And you can see that this is the same Apple website, but look at the overall visual appearance of this website. Can you see how bad, how horrible it is looking? This is the impact of CSS. This is how CSS is important. With CSS, this website looks like this, and without CSS, you can see that it is looking horrible. So to apply, let's say you're creating multiple tags in your HTML document. You're creating a div, you're creating a h1 tag, a span tag, like this, and you want to apply your styling to this elements. So how you're gonna do is that you're gonna use a concept of selectors. What is a selector? Selector is this tag. This, whatever the tag, let's say I want to apply some styling on my h1 tags. Let's say in my HTML document there are 100 h1 tags, and I want to apply my styling to that h1 tags. What I'm gonna do is that first of all I will write h1, and we call this, in technical terms we call this as a selector, and I will open my curly braces. In the curly braces, I will write the property. What property I want to change? Whether I want to change the text size, whether I want to change the color of the text, or whether I want to add a background color to that text. So first of all, I will define the property. What property I want to change? Let's say that I want to change the color of the text. Then I will write color colon, and I will give value for this property. What value I want to assign? Let's say that I want to change the color to red. Then I will write red as my value, and immediately when I write this, the entire h1 tag will get converted, will have this styling. So the color of the text will become red now. Now after this, I will give a semicolon, and this thing is known as statement terminator. Statement terminator is nothing but a full stop. This will show, okay, for this property it has ended here. After that, I will close my curly bracket. Like this, I will write selectors. Again, selector is a very broad topic. We have different selectors like class selector, ID selector, parent selector. Like this, we have multiple types of selectors, which we will talk about in CSS part 2. But for now, you need to understand that to add styling to a tag, we write h1 opening curly bracket. In that, we will write key value pair, and the key is here property and the value which I want to assign. Let's say for color, I want to assign its value as red. So my text will become immediately red. After that, I will close my curly bracket. Like this, I can use selectors to apply my styling process for my HTML tags. Now let us talk about how I can include. Right, we have understood selectors, but how I can include CSS to my HTML document? I have created a HTML document, right? So for this HTML document, how I'm gonna include my CSS files, how I can add styling to this CSS. So to add styling to a HTML document, we have three methods. The first method is inline method, and the third method is style tag method, and the second method is style tag method, and the third one is external CSS. These are the three methods, and before we talk about what are these three methods, you need to keep this in mind that the most efficient one is external CSS. This is the most efficient one, and we use this in real time, and we like around 80 to 90% of the times we don't use this thing. These two things, inline tag and style tags, we don't that much. Let's say I'm creating a real-time website, tech website, then I will not use inline styling or style tag. I don't use these two methodologies that much. I will talk about why, but you need to remember these two are not that much used when compared to an external CSS method. Okay, so let us talk about them in detail. So let us begin with our first one, that is inline styling. So in a HTML document, we have multiple tags, we have multiple HTML elements. So what I will do is that individually for each and every HTML element, I will go in that HTML element and I will add an attribute called as style, and I will add my corresponding properties. I will add my respective properties. So for example, let's say that I am having h1 tag and I know how to add attributes, right? Name is equals to something. We used to add attributes, right? So attributes will give you an idea about that tag. So I will add an attribute called as style. So here I will write style is equals to, let's say for this h1 tag I want to change the color. So quotations, and I will write color and I will give red. After statement terminator, that's all, right? And I will write inline tag, inline style backslash h1. Now what will happen is that for this h1 tag only, for this one tag, I will follow the property, I will have the styling this one. This method is known as inline method. So let us try to code this. Let us try to write this inline method here in our VS Code. So I am having in the VS Code, I have created a document, my general boilerplate code, and I'm gonna create a h1 tag, h1, and I will write this is a inline method, and here I will again add h1. I am writing my styling, I am writing my styling for the first time, okay? So I have created two h1 tags here. Now for the first h1 tag, I'm gonna write an attribute called as style is equals to, and I want to change the color. I want to change the color of this text. So before I change anything, I will remove this, and first of all, let us see what my site will look like. So this is what my style, my document will look like, and this h1 tag and this h1 tag are in black color. They have some default like styling. So what I'm gonna do is that in my VS Code, I will add a style tag here. Style is equals to color, and let's say I want to give red, and I will save this and I will go to my document, and you can see that this is a line is in red color, and the first tag has a styling and the second tag any styling. Why? Because I have given styling only for the first element. In the first element, as an attribute, I have added a property, I have added a tag called as style, and in the style I am giving properties. So all the styling will only get applied on the first h1 tag, not on the second, because I didn't give styling to the second tag. Now if I wanna add styling to my second tag as well, then what I can give is that I have to give individually separately style tag to this also, and I will give, let's say, font family, and I wanna change the font. Let's say I wanna change this, I don't know what font this is, so I will change to this and come back to here. You can see that your font family has changed, your font style has changed. Like this, we can give styling to each and individual element separately. And here comes the problem of inline element. The problem with inline element is that, let's say in a HTML, in a single HTML document, I have 500 tags. Now my question is it practical to go to each and every 500 tags and give styling to them individually? The answer is no. We cannot. It is not practically viable. It is not practically possible to go to 500 individual HTML tags and give them separate styling. This is the problem with inline elements. It is not practical. If you want to give styling for one element, then it is okay, you can use it. But if you want to give styling for 100 elements, for 200 elements, 300 elements, then you cannot use inline element. You cannot write styling for 200 tags at once. So how we can improve this? To improve that, we are gonna use second method. Let us talk about the second method. So the second method is style tag. Style tag is added using style element in the document. So in the head section, what I'm gonna do is that I will write a style tag, and in that, for example, this is my HTML document. Let's say HTML document, and in the body I'm having h1 tags. This is h1 tag 1, h1 tag 2, h1 tag 3, h1 tag 4. Like this, I'm having 4 h1 tags, and I don't want to give inline styling for this 4 tags individually. I want to apply styling instantaneously. For all these 4 tags, I want to apply the same styling. For h1 tag, I want to apply whatever the document. In the document, let's say I am having 100 h1 tags, and I want to apply styling for this all h1 tags the same. So what I'm gonna do is that in the head, you can see that in our HTML document I have head, right? So in the head, I'm gonna add a tag called as style, and within the style I will write my selector h1, and I will give color red. And immediately what will happen is that for all the h1 tags, the color will get changed to red. I hope you have understood, right? Instantaneously, instead of giving separately for each and individual tags styling, what you're gonna do is that you're gonna apply styling for all the h1 tags at once. So this is efficient method, right? So you're not wasting your time, you're directly applying styling to all the tags at once. So this is a little bit efficient method. So let us try to apply this. Let us try to apply this thing here. So I'm having 2 h1 tags. So after head, we need to give style tag, and in the style tag I will write h1, and I want to change the color for all my h1 tags. Let's say in a document I am having 100 h1 tags, and for this 100 h1 tags I want to change the color of each and every h1 tag at once. So what I'm gonna do is that I will write color, and I want to give blue color. Okay, I will give blue color, and I will remove inline here. I will remove inline styling. So this is inline styling, right? So I will remove these things here. Okay, now let me save, and I will go to my document, and you can see that the document for all the h1 tags, whatever the content it is having, but the content is in blue color. Have you observed how efficient it is? You're not going at each and every element and applying styling to it. Instantaneously for 100 tags, 200 tags, you're applying direct styling at once, right? Let's say here I'm having 5 h1 tags. H1 tag, I will copy the same thing here. I will copy and I will paste it here. And for all the elements, you can see that for all the elements styling has applied, because all the elements in the document which is having h1 tag will follow this. And for example, let's say I am writing a paragraph tag. I am writing paragraph tag like this, and in that I will add here para. Okay, this is the para backslash P. So I have added para, and I will see whether the para have the styling or not. So you can see that paragraph don't have any styling. Why? Because in the document I have applied styling to my h1 tag only. If I want to apply styling to my paragraph tag, then I need to choose that selector. I need to choose paragraph selector. So I will write P opening curly bracket, closing curly bracket, and in that, let's say I want to change the size of my paragraph. So I will write font size, and I will give larger, and let me save and go to my document, and you can see that the overall size of the paragraph got increased. Let's say I want to change the font family of the document. So here I will go to the site, and here I will write font family or style, and I want to change this to italic. Now you can see that the whole paragraph is in italic now. Like this, using selectors, using style tag, we can apply direct styling to all the HTML documents. Now here comes the most efficient method which we use to include CSS in our document, and this method is very efficient. Here what we are gonna do is that we will create a separate CSS file. This is my HTML document, right? This is my HTML document. I will not add CSS in it. I will not add CSS within my HTML document. What I will do is that in the third method, in the external CSS sheet, I will create a separate CSS file. I will create a separate CSS file, and in that CSS file I will give styling. Oh, h1 should have this, paragraph should have this, this class should have this, like this. I will give styling for all the things. Whatever the things I want to change, I will give styling to those. Okay, now after giving styling, I will give a link. I will link my CSS document with my HTML document, and all the properties which I am defining here will get applied to this HTML elements. This concept is known as external style sheet method. In this, what we will do is that we will write CSS in a separate document, and we will link that document with my HTML file. Now you might ask, oh Jabir, why this thing is efficient? This thing is efficient because in real time we will not have a single HTML document, right? Let's say I am having 5 HTML documents: HTML document 1, document 2, and document 3, and document 4. And if you observe big companies, if you observe companies like Google, Tesla, Apple, they will follow a theme. For all the pages, they will follow a theme. For example, Apple follows a theme of some bluish color and black color. Tesla follows some white and black color throughout their pages, and Google follow yellow color. Snapchat follows yellow color, right? So for all the web pages they are having, they follow a synchronized pattern. And if you observe the styling is also similar to one another. One page document is having the same style with another page, and similarly another page. So the styling process is similar, is basically same for all the documents, right? So for each and individual document, instead of adding separate styling 1, styling 2, styling 3, styling 4, instead of adding this separately, what you will do is that you will create a external CSS file, and you will attach this file to all these documents. So you're not writing your style tag multiple times, you're writing your CSS file once, but you're just giving link to this multiple HTML documents, and this multiple HTML documents will follow the property of one single CSS file. I hope you have understood. And let's say that I am having 100 HTML documents. So instead of writing style tag in each and individual HTML document, I can give just link of my CSS file, and in the CSS file I will define properties, right? So my work is getting reduced here. That is why this method is very efficient. So let us try to understand how we can link a document in my HTML page, how we can link a CSS document in my HTML. So to link, what I will do is that I will write link href is equals to, I will write path. I will write the path of my CSS file, comma rel is equals to style sheet. So by just writing this, my HTML document will get attached to this CSS file, right? Whatever the path I am giving, right? Whatever the path or location of CSS file I am giving, that file will get attached, will get linked with this HTML document. So what I will do is that in the header tag, I will give link rel is equals to style sheet, and href is equals to, I will give the link of my CSS document. So to add CSS document, we need to create a CSS document. So how are we gonna create a CSS file? So what I will do is that I will go in my file tab, and in the file, this is the folder I'm having, right? So let me show you. This is the folder I'm having, like I'm having 3 images and my single HTML document. So what I'm gonna do is that in the VS Code, I will create a new file called as style. The name of the file is style.css. I will give .css here and I will enter, and instantaneously my CSS file is created here. Okay, I hope you have understood. Like this, we will create a CSS file. To create a HTML file, we will write file name .html. Similarly, to create a style, to create a CSS file, we will give style whatever the file name .css. Here my file name is style, and what I'm gonna do is that I will write selectors as usual. So here I will write h1, and for h1 I wanna change the color as color, and I will give some bisque color. Okay, and I want to give background color, so I will give background color and I will give black. We will see what background color will do, and I will remove this style tag. Okay, now here in the href will show the link, will show, okay, in this location there is a CSS file, and for this CSS file, the HTML document, whatever the HTML document you have created, that document will get attached, will get linked with this CSS file. So here I will give style.css. I have given the path, the name of my CSS document, and I will save this and I will go to my document, and you can see that I got the styling. Here the text is in bisque color, and the background, for this h1 tag, the background is black. Like this I can give external CSS. Now we have understood how we can include CSS in my HTML documents. 3 different methods: inline, style tag, external CSS, and we're gonna use external CSS most of the times. Okay, now let us talk about the properties. Right, we have different properties. We have color property, text property. Let us talk about them in detail. So first of all, let us begin with our color property. Color property is used to set the color of foreground. Foreground means, let's say at h1 tag, in the h1 tag I am giving my name is Jabir. I'm giving, and \h1. Now what this will, let's say I am writing h1 and I am giving color property color, and I am giving red. So what will happen is that for this content, for this my name is Jabir Hussain, the content, the text will get, the color of the text will get changed to red, and this text color changing, we call this as foreground. Okay, on the text the properties is getting applied. This is known as foreground. Okay, and to give color we use multiple methods. We use coloring to give color to a particular element, it can be a background color, it can be a foreground color, right? So to give color we use 3 different methods. One is general method, we'll give black, red, and the second method is RGB colors. We'll give RGB colors, and the third method is hex code color, and there is another method called as HSL I think, but we don't use this method that much. We're gonna use these 3 methods all the time. Okay, and most of the developers use these 3 methods only. Okay, so let us see how we can give color on my text. So here I will give, here this is the, I will remove all these things, and I will \body, and in this I will write h1 tag \h1. This, okay, let us take the old document. So this is the old document I'm having, right? So in the document what I did is that first of all I have linked my CSS file, and this is my CSS file, and in the CSS file I will give color, and I will give red as my color, and let me save. And what will happen is that when I give color as red on the foreground, the color of the text will change. So here you can see that my text got changed. All the h1 tags is having red color. Similarly, VS Code gives us the option to choose color manually. So here I can choose color. There is a color picker here, like this I can choose. Let's say I want to make my color little bit darkish red. So like this I will provide me RGB colors. We will talk about what is RGB colors in few minutes, but for now you need to understand that color, whenever you write color and give some property, some value to it, then what will happen is that the text of that thing will get changed on the foreground. The background, let's say this is text and this is background, the background will remain the same, but the content of this tag will get changed. Let's say you are changing the color, so on this content the color will get changed. Okay, so yeah, this is the document and the color got changed here. So what I will do is that I will come back to my HTML document and I will remove all this thing. I don't want this thing, and I will write a button here. So I will write button and I will try to give, let's say this is my submit button, and I will come here, and for button, to give styling to button, I will write my button selector, and for button, let's say I want to change the color of the button. So I will write color, and let's say I'm giving blue. Okay, let me save and go to my document. You can see that this is h1 tag, this is my submit button, and for submit button the content color, the foreground of that thing is getting changed here. The color of the button is changed here. Similarly, to change the background color of element, let's say I'm having h1 tag, right, and for h1 tag I want to change the background color of that thing. I want to change the background color of button. So what I will write is that I will write background and I will give purple, or I will write background, I will give RGB color or hex color. This is known as hex form, and we will talk about hex form and RGB few minutes, but for now you need to understand that to change the foreground properties we use color. To change the background properties we use background color. So what I will do is that I want to change the background color of my button. So I will write background color, and let's say I am giving yellow. And similarly, I want to change the color of my h1 tag as red, and I want to change the background color of my h1 tag as aqua. Similarly, let me give the styling for my p tag also. I am having p, right? So for p also I will give styling here, color as red or blue, and I will give background color as yellow, and I will save and go to my document. You can see that my document has got some color, like the background color of h1 tag is aqua blue now, and the color of the foreground content is red. Similarly, this is my button, this is the paragraph tag. Like this I am applying styling to my document, and I know this is not looking good, but this is how we'll apply. We are just like starting off with CSS, right? So yeah, now we need to do this question. In the question, what we need to do is that first of all I need to create h2 tag, and after paragraph tag and a submit button. Now for this h2 tag, the text color will be orange, and the background of button should be blue color, and text color should be white, which is foreground color. And for paragraph tag, the background color should be black, and the foreground color of this text should be white. So let us try to apply this thing, let us try to create this in our VS Code. So in the HTML document I will remove all this, and first of all I need to write h2 tag, right? h2 tag, and what I have to write here: hi there, my name is Tom, I am here to help. Hi there. Okay, after that a paragraph tag, my name is Tom and I am here to help. After this I need to give a button, right? So I will give button /button, and here I will give need help. Now in the question it is asking to change the h2 tag to orange. So I will remove all this and I will choose h2 selector, and for h2 selector I will write color, and I need to change it to orange, right? So I will write orange here. Like this I will change the color of h2 tag. Similarly for paragraph tag I need to write the background color as background color, black background color and white text. So here I will write for p tag I will write background color as black, right? So what will happen is that for all the p tags the background color will become black. Now after that I will give color and I will give here white, and the foreground, the content color will become white. Similarly for my button I will give styling, what it is telling to give styling, blue background and white text. So here I will give background color blue and text as color of the text is white. So I will give white. Let me save my HTML document and I will go to my document. You can see that I have applied the styling like this. Hi there is in orange and my name is Tom and I am here to help. The text color is in white and the background color of the paragraph is in black. Similarly the button background is blue and the text on the button is in white color. Okay, so let us talk about color theory. So talking about the color systems in VS Code, in our browser, they are multiple colors, and the browser, whatever the browser you are using, let's say you are using Chrome browser, Microsoft Edge, you are using a Safari, a Brave browser, different browsers, right? So each browser recognizes around 140 standard colors. What are standard colors? Let's say white, black, blue, orange, red, green, purple, right? Like this, they are 140 standard colors which are recognized by our browser, right? And in your VS Code you can directly give the color and the browser will recognize, but you need to understand that in nature there are n number of permutations and combinations, and using this you can create multiple colors. There are millions of colors in nature and your browser sometimes cannot recognize that color, and in that case what you're gonna use is that you're gonna use RGB format. The full form of RGB is red, green and blue. So this is a scale. This is a scale of combination of colors from 0 to 255, right? And if you want to visualize or if you want to understand how RGB works, you can imagine this as a bucket, right? So there is a bucket, and in the bucket you are like adding red color, blue color, green color, and the resultant color will have the intensity towards red if the red color in the bucket is more. Let's say in my bucket the blue color is very like high in quantity, then the resultant color will be more inclined towards blue color, right? So here what we will do is that we will give color is equals to RGB of 0, 0, 0, and the first 0 represents red, the second 0 represents green, and the third 0 represents blue. Okay, and as you increase the value from 0 to 250, it tells you how much intensity that particular color is having. Okay, so here red color, let's say you want to add all the red color in your bucket, then what you will do is that first of all you will give RGB as 255 and you will add 0 blue color, 0 red color, right? Similarly you want to add black color, you want to make black color, then what you will do is that you need to make your bucket empty. That's all. Black color is null, right? No color is basically black color. So what you will do is that you will add 0, 0, 0, 0 of blue color, 0 of green color, 0 of red green color, right? All these zeros, 3 zeros will give you blue color. If you want to add white, then you will add 255, 255 and 255, that is complete red, complete blue, complete green. This thing will give you white color, right? And if you want to create blue color, then you will give 0 red, 0 green and 255, that is 100% of blue. Similarly, if you want to create yellow, this is the number of RGB number of yellow, that is 255 red, 255 green and 0 blue. This thing will give you yellow color. This is the yellow color, I guess, right? This is the yellow color. Like this is the diagrammatic representation of RGB representation. I hope you have understood. Now to understand more about RGB color, you can go to MDN RGB color, RGB colors, and you can see that you got the document of RGB colors. So this will show you how RGB colors works. And similarly, if you want to understand RGB in detail, then you can write RGB CSS understanding, enter, and you will get the document of RGB W3 schools, and you can see that these guys will tell you clearly. Now let's say I wanna decrease the green color. You can see that the overall intensity of red is getting decreased. I wanna add green color more, and I wanna add again this thing. Then you can see that the background, if all the things are in 255, then the background of this upper element is getting higher. Similarly, like this you have, let's say I wanna remove all this. Then if you combine red and blue completely, then you will get pink. Okay, like this you can experiment about RGB colors. You can study about RGB colors in detail. In RGB, we used to give the intensity of red color, the intensity of green color, the intensity of blue color. Similarly, there is another system which we use to define the color of a particular tag or particular element in HTML, and that is hex code or hexadecimal. So hexadecimal tells you what color they are going to have. And to give hexadecimal code, what you're gonna do is that first of all you will write hashtag, and you will give 6 characters, and the first 2 characters will represent the red color, and the second 2 characters represents green color, and the next 2 characters represent the blue color. Here this is the thing. Here you can see that if all the things are 0 0 0, it tells you that the resultant color will be black. Now if the end 2 colors are in FF, then this is blue color. If initially 2 colors, which is red and green, is in full, then this will give you yellow. Now you can also study about hexadecimal code here. In W3 schools you can itself study. Here you can see that this in color systems you have colors, which is general method, RGB and hex. Go to hex, and here you can study about hexadecimal. In hexadecimal, a color can be specified using hexadecimal value, right? The first 2 colors RR represent red, the second one represent blue, green, and the third one represent blue in hexadecimal. Okay, and this is the same from 0 to 255, the range. Now I can decrease this. I will decrease all the things here, and the resultant will be, if all the things in 0, then the resultant will be black. Let's say I am increasing this only blue, so you can see that the resultant will be, background color will be blue. And you can see that the hex code, if you want to know the hex code, then you can copy this thing from W3 schools. You can copy different hexadecimal codes. And similarly, we have a hexa scale which is provided by Google. So hex color, when you click on hex color, Google will provide you a color picker, and here immediately you can choose a color picker here. Let's say red color, you can choose a color of red color, and Google will provide you the tools for hex color. Now let us talk about another properties. We have completed color properties, right? Color will apply your styling on the foregrounds. Background color will apply styling on the background of that element, right? And we have studied in coloring, we have studied 3 different methods. One is general method, directly give the color, and browser understood 140 color, and the second method is RGB color, and the third one is hex color, hex code. These are the three different methods which we have studied in color properties. Now let us move to text property. So text property will tell you what font you're gonna use, what is the alignment of element, what is the font weight is going to be. So in text properties we have text alignment, font weight, text decoration, line height, letter spacing, and font size. So let us talk about them in detail. So let us begin with text alignment. So text alignment will tell you, let's say I'm creating a h1 tag, and in this I'm having some content, and I'm giving styling called as text align, and this will tell me, okay, for this document, for this h1 document, where the content is going to be. Let's say I'm giving text align left. So what this will do is that this will take your h1 tag and it will add your tag on the left side with respect to the parent element. You need to understand that with respect to parent element, it will perform operations. We will talk about how a child and parent relation is going to be in CSS in lecture 2. When we talk about flexbox model, we will talk about them in detail. But for now, we need to keep this in mind that text align will work. Let's say I'm giving for a tag, I'm giving text align to left. So this will move left, but it will move left in such a way that it doesn't bother. It will move left in such a way that it will follow the properties of parent tag. It will follow the properties of parent. With respect to parent, it will move. It might be confusing, but believe me, when I code this, it will become super easy. Similarly, when I give right, then the element will go on right. Similarly, when I give center, the element will come on the center of the document. And if I give justify, then it will try to make the content in a parallel manner. So let me go and let me show you what I mean. So here what I will do is that I will write a paragraph tag and I will give some lorem epsum paragraph. Similarly, again a paragraph tag and I will give lorem epsum, and for the first heading I will give h2 tag backslash h2. This is para1, this is para1, and similarly for the second tag also I will give h2. This is para2. Like this I will give. Okay, now I will come back to my, let me remove all the styling here. I will remove styling. I don't want any styling. I will go to my document and see how this one is looking. So where is my document? Let me remove all this first. So this is the document, para1, para2 I am getting. Now what I want is that key, I wanna make this h1 tag on the center of my document, right? So what I will do is that I will go to my VS Code and I will add CSS. In the CSS for h2 tag, I want to apply properties. So I want to change the text alignment. So I will write text align and I will give center. And when I give center now, the h2 tag will come right in the middle of the document. So let me save and go to my document, and you can see that the h1, the h2 tag, the heading tag is in the center of the document. And what is the parent of h1? What is the parent of heading? The parent of heading is body here. You can see that the parent element of both p and h2 is body. With respect to body tag, the h2 is coming. And if I give left, instead of right, I am giving left. And let me copy, and here you can see that the element is coming on left. Similarly, if I give right and save, the element will go right side of my document. Similarly, if I give justify and save, you can see the document is again, the content is coming again on the left side, because the work of justify is that it will make sure that the left side and the right side, the text is in a clear format. It will innately understand, okay, this is the thing I am having, and for this the both left spacing and the right spacing should be in a contiguous manner. And this is the work of justify. For example, to show you the working of justify, I will give paragraph tag and I will give text alignment, justify. Let me save and go to the document, and you can see that before justify, okay, let me save. You can see that the document is not having a structured format. You can see this is going towards left and this document is here, something like this. Now when I give justify, now the left and the right, the starting point and the ending point will follow a parallel form. So here I will give justify, and let me save and go to this. You can see that these two things are coming in the end, right? These two things, the text is in parallel, the text is ending at the parallel form. I hope you have understood justify. Now if you are little bit unclear about text alignment, then read the documentation about text alignment. Similarly, we can also change the font weight. Let's say I am creating paragraph tag and I want to change the weightage, the weight, the look of that font. Then what I will do is that I will write font and I can give multiple things. And similarly, we have a property called as text decoration. Text decoration is used to write to like make your text look good. Let's say you want to add a underline, you want to add a curvy line, you want to add a line through, you want to cut. Let's say I'm writing my name is Jabir and I want to strike that out, then I can use text decoration property, right? Similarly, we have a line height. It will control the height of that particular line. Okay, this line height should be this, like this. It will control the height of a particular text. Similarly, line spacing, letter spacing will tell you, okay, this is the letter 1, letter 2, and among this letter how much space we are gonna create. So this thing is defined by letter spacing. And the final one, before we go into like pixels, all those kind of things, we have studied text decoration, letter spacing, and letter height, letter spacing, letter height, and font weight and font family, right? So let us try to understand with respect to the code, So this is the HTML document. In the HTML document, I am having h2 tag, 2 paragraph tags. Now I have attached the link, the overall connection of this CSS style.css document with my HTML. Now in the document, what I'm gonna do is that I will change the font family. I will change the font family of my p tag. Let's say I'm changing to this. I don't know what this is, so I'm changing to this font family. And after this, I will write the font weight, and let's say I want to give bold color, right? I want to make bold, and let's say I'm writing letter height 2.5. Let's say 2.5 pixel, and here you can see that I'm having different units. We'll talk about units in CSS, but for now I wanna make this as 2.5 inch. So I will write in, and after this I wanna give the letter spacing. So I will give letter spacing, and let's say I'm giving 2%. This is another unit, relative unit we'll talk about that in detail, 2%. And let's say I want to give color as brown. Okay, so let me save and go to my document. You can see that the overall sizing, the spacing of the document got increased, right? And let's say I'm changing the spacing, so I will write here 10, let's say inch. I'm changing this. Now I will go here. You can see that the letter spacing got increased, something like this. And I want to change this to 2 inch. Okay, let me save and go here. This is the document, and yeah, this is what I'm getting, right? It is looking bad, so I will remove this here. And yeah, and let's say I'm changing the height of my letter. Let's say I'm making as 10, and I will go to my document, and you can see that the overall height of paragraph is getting changed here. Like this, I can add properties. And let's say I wanna underline my paragraph tag, then I will write text decoration, and I will write line through, not underline, I will write underline. So let me save and go to this. You can see that I got underline. In CSS we have two different types of units. For example, let's say that there is a land in a city and the area of that land is 5 kilometer square, and this land is in USA, and there is another land with the same area, right? In India we are having another land and the area of that land is again 5 kilometer square. Now my question is, if you measure the overall area in USA, in India, whether the area is gonna change? No, the area will remain the same because the unit which we are using is an absolute unit. Similarly, in CSS we have two categories of units. First one is absolute unit and the second type of unit is relative unit, right? So here if I talk about physics, we have also two types of units, absolute units, relative units. I cannot recall relative units. I think motion in itself is a relative, right? Let's say motion is totally dependent on the frame of reference you are having, right? I don't want to go deep into physics, but yeah, velocity is relative, but kilometer, distance, all these things are absolute units, right? If you measure the land in India, if you measure the land in USA, the land area will remain the same, the unit will remain the same. This thing is known as absolute unit. Similarly, in CSS the absolute units are pixels. We have different things as pt, centimeter, millimeter, inches. Like this we have different absolute units, and if you use this absolute units, then the property of that tag will remain the same irrespective of what is happening in the document. But relative units will change time to time based on the screen. Let's say I'm using my website on phone, I'm using my website on laptop. So when I use relative tags now, the overall properties of a relative unit will change. In phone I will see elements in some way, in laptop I will see elements in another way. Why? Because the relativeness of screen is changing time to time. Like this we have two types of different units, and most of the times in absolute units we are going to use pixels. In relative units we are going to use percentage, em and rem. We will talk about them in detail, but for now you need to understand two types of units. We have two types of units, and most of the times in absolute we are going to use pixels, and in relative units we are going to use these three things. Now let us talk about little bit about pixels. So this is the most commonly used absolute units, and 196 pixels is equals to 1 inch, and I think 1 inch is equals to 2.56 centimeters. Yeah, so 2.56 centimeters mean this small thing. Can you imagine that if you break this into 96 parts, if you break an inch into 96 parts, then one part of them will be equivalent to 1 pixel. This is how the small pixel is, right? And it is not suitable. Absolute units are not suitable for responsive sites. What I mean by responsive is that, let's say you're opening Google on your phone, you're opening Google on your laptop, you're opening Google on your TV. So in all the websites, irrespective of the screen size, the website is looking good. This thing is known as responsiveness of your website. So if you use absolute unit in all the cases, then your website will not look good, because you are giving some absolute thing. Okay, whether it might be mobile, whether it might be a TV screen, whether it might be a laptop, my text should look like this irrespective of the text screen. So what this will result is that the website will not become responsive. Anyways, we'll talk about them in detail, but for now, to give absolute units, we will write, let's say I want to give the size of a font, then I will write font size 50 pixels. Like this I can give the sizing absolute unit, right? and we have talked about font family. We have different types of font family like this. And if you notice, whenever I am writing font family, I am getting multiple things. Why I am getting multiple like fonts here is that some browsers will not understand a font, and if they don't understand the font, let's say there is a font called as avant-garde and Safari is not understanding this font, then what Safari will do is that it will consider the second font as your family, as your font style, right? And this thing is known as backup family. If the first font is not working, then second will work. If the second is also not working, then the third will work. Like this we have font family. Okay, I hope you have understood the basic concepts of CSS, and I hope you are very clear with these things. And the lecture is around 1 hour 10 minutes, so I will stop here, and with that being said, I will see you in CSS part 2.